episode 2 of The Great Cleric, where we find out that, well, our boy can kick ass as well as heal. Kind of. Welcome back to another video on the VikingGnomeAnime channel. In this episode review, I have a lot of thoughts, really. I have a lot of thoughts on this anime here so far. I am not overly impressed by the second episode. It kind of lessened my enthusiasm for the show as a whole after the first episode, where I thought the concept was quite intriguing. The concept is still intriguing, but I'm not quite feeling the pacing or the overall plotline structure so far after this second episode. First of all, to quickly recap here, so Luciel, he finishes his sort of 10-day Spartan training at the Healer Guild. He just like a 1 week time skip to finish that. He gets himself a job at the Adventurers Guild under this boss-like Giga Chad martial arts master that apparently everyone else is too scared or poor to train with. And then he just starts training with him to increase his martial arts skills, which I didn't really realize he had. I didn't really note down all the things that he got on his skill sheet when he got into this new world. And then at the end of the episode, he gets a deal to basically stay at the Adventurers Guild for free, and he gets 3 meals a day, just in return for his healing services, basically. So, you know, good deal. Good deal. And that's basically all episode 2 was. Nothing too much happened here, except he did use his healing skills on a few occasions. Now, before going into the episode as a whole, there are some things I am not overly fond of in the second episode and in this show as a whole so far. First of all, the designs for characters, especially the waifus, I am not that fond of. I don't like the design choice or how they look. They look very plain and not very enticing to me. So that's maybe a personal issue, but for me, not the biggest fan of the waifu designs. Furthermore, I am not the biggest fan of this sort of goofy thing they go into at some areas here, especially when he is running. In the second episode, is running in this training hall, and he basically goes into this euphoric state, and yeah, there's that entire goofy scene, which is like, I don't really think too fondly of that. It's not the most well made, and it doesn't really draw me in, and it's like, yeah, okay, sure, I guess. But the goofiness is not really hitting for me, personally, so far. The highlight of this episode, though, or what I think they actually did best in this episode, was that they continued from the last episode, of course, when he said he would heal these adventurers that were on death's door. And we see that, first of all, he fails a couple of times using his healing spell because he's nervous, right? Because this is obviously a life or death situation, he's never been in that before, so it takes some getting used to and sort of to up his conviction and resolve to actually do these spells. So that I did like, that they actually show him having some issues, right? Just basically just performing, per se. And in the end, he ends up failing the spell a few times, and because of that, ends up running out of magic, meaning he cannot save the last person in this adventurous party, meaning the last person dies as he is exhausted and passes out from lack of magic. Now that is something I quite liked, meaning that they actually give him a sort of a deeper motivation and some sort of trauma in this backstory now, where he failed before. Like, he vividly knows that because of his own failure and his lack of abilities and lack of skill and lack of conviction, whatever else, he let someone die. And that is something that he thinks of right after this, right? When he's in his room, basically cries in his arms and is determined to never let happen again. So that sort of thing I think is quite good. Like, that sets a strong baseline for his conviction and motivation moving forward, that he has experienced this tragic, negative thing because of his own ineptitude or lack of ability, and then being determined never to let that happen again. That was definitely the strong suit of the episode, but on the flip side of that as well, I would have definitely liked them focusing a bit more on that aspect, because I think that could be like really, really impactful, and they do sort of harken back to that part of the start of the episode a couple times, but I would have liked them to hit more harder on it, and visually or audibly make it more obvious that it is really hitting him, and he is really taken aback and traumatized by this to some extent. But they did it well enough, I suppose, so just that point in and of itself, very positive, I like that. The rest of the episode though, just the martial arts training and that entire training montage session there, it's like, I'm not overly fond of that. I mean, nothing really hit me there. Like, the humor didn't hit for me if there was any humor. The whatever else, like, sure, Like, the episode just progressed and it finished, and I didn't really get engaged at all, I felt like. Maybe that's because I'm just not really focused today, but I just didn't really get into it in the second episode. It felt really flat for me, outside of that starting portion with these adventurers and his lack of healing. So with that out of the way, I'm not really sure how optimistic I am for the future of this show, and I will keep covering it because I am determined to cover every isekai at the very least, week to week, as I do want to have this be like an isekai-focused channel, first and foremost. But yeah, I mean, I'm not too hopeful right now after the second episode to see what episode 3 or the ones further might contain. Again, the concept is cool, and everything around that is interesting, and they can do a ton with the world building around this, but I'm just not really sure if they're going to. Because right now, it feels like it is very quickly going into the range of, okay, going away from the concept and just making him like a martial arts person that can defend himself, maybe fight as well, and not just heal, and going more into the, okay, I'm gonna just train and become strong and be more of a general isekai protagonist instead of hammering home on the specific concept they have here that can work really well. We will have to see though how that ends up turning out. Another thing that was somewhat interesting to end up this video was that he apparently right now is healing for free, right? Which is a like big thing in this town where basically everyone overcharges and stuff and no one can afford healing. So he is healing for free, like everyone that needs it. And we see that at the end of the episode when some adventurers party hear of him and they come to this trading area to get healed. And they're like, are you really not charging? Are you really going to heal us? And then of course he does. And then he pledges to the trainer as well, he will heal anyone regardless of race, whatever, and that he will just do it for free whenever he can. But if he is now just going around healing everyone for free, I mean, that's not going to work long term. I mean, right now, yes, he's getting free lodging and free food while he's at this adventurers guild, but long term, if he's not going to stay there forever, I mean, he will need to make money, and the only way he can make money, at any reasonable amount anyway, is going to be through his healing, because that is his skill, that is his job, that is his class. So he can't just be healing people for free, inevitably, because he's not going to survive. I mean, to draw a parallel to the real world, yeah, it doesn't matter how much doctors want to help you, like, they have to provide for themselves as well. They can't, like, just help people without getting anything in return. They won't survive. So, I wonder how they're going to continue with that, and how he's going to transition into charging for his services, especially as he was a business person in his last life. He should understand these dynamics quite well. But yeah, I'm not very iffy on how they're going to progress with that. I don't know how that is going to turn out, but I'm a bit iffy on that. Hopefully they actually spend some time to figure out logically how that's going to turn out. But yes, overall thoughts on the episode, very mid. A few good elements, like 2 good elements. The rest, very mid for me. Felt very flat for most of the episode. Not overly impressed at all. But we will stick with it and see how it turns out. That'll be it for this episode review. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. What did you think of the episode? Did you like the episode? Not like the episode? Why did you like it? Why did you not like it? Or any other questions or thoughts? Feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I will read and respond to each and every one. That being said, I hope you have a good day, and I will see you in the next anime review or similar video. Bye bye.